You enjoy podcasts. We know because you're listening to one. Hi, I'm Jason Falls, the executive producer of the Marketing Podcast Network. We love podcasts too, so much so that in addition to providing you with the great episode you're listening to, we also help businesses, brands, and even individuals produce their podcasts. MPN Studios offers podcast consulting and production services to help you get you or your business its very own podcast. We've helped dozens of smart people, advertising agencies, and brands develop podcasts. All you do is record your content or interview. We take that and deliver a professionally produced audio or video episode complete with show notes, transcriptions, and even promotional clips to use on social media. And our monthly subscription prices are hard to beat. If you or your company are jonesing to have your own podcast to establish thought leadership, drive business leads, or just have fun talking about your business or topic of choice, we'd love to help. Learn more at marketingpodcasts.net/studio. That's marketingpodcasts.net/studio.
Hello, I'm Ian Truscott. You may know me as the host of the Rockstar CMO Effing Marketing Podcast, but I'm here to share that we're kicking off the inaugural MPN Podcast Awards, which will be hosted by Gordon Glenister, podcaster, author, and the Don of influencer marketing. What say you, Gordon?
The Marketing Podcast Network is a community of marketers who podcast. And we thought it was high time to recognize the podcasts that we love, marketing podcasts. But these awards aren't just about the shows on our network. The MPN Awards are open to all marketing podcasts. And this is our chance to shine a light on the voices right across the entire marketing podcast community. So don't delay. Enter the MPN Awards.
You heard Gordon. Let us know your favorite marketing podcast and enter at mpn-awards.com or follow the Marketing Podcast Network on LinkedIn for all of our updates.
Welcome to Your Radiant Spirit, a space for the conversations and colors that help you see yourself more clearly. I'm Heather Eck, an intuitive artist and guide, and I believe your soul speaks in the ways the mind can't always put into words, through color, energy, and the stories your body holds. This show is where we explore those messages. Through personal stories, deep conversations, and creative insight, we'll uncover what's been hidden, release what no longer serves, and begin to imagine what's possible when you live in full alignment with who you're meant to be. What you hear here is more than inspiration, it's an opening, a chance to feel the shift that could change everything. So take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's step into today's conversation. Welcome back to Your Radiant Spirit. I'm so glad that you're here with me. Before we dive into today's conversation, I wanted to take a moment and invite you to visit my new website at heathereck.com. Whether you're curious about what your soul's colors might be saying, or you're ready to explore a spirit portrait, or you simply just want to go deeper into the energy of color and what it means for your life, that is your next stop. It's been refreshed. It's been updated. I would love to hear your thoughts. And also, if you run into any bugs, please do not hesitate to let me know because listen, it happens. All right, on to today's episode. It's a really good one. I sat down with Dr. Kelly Edmonds, who is an energy healer, a channel, a spiritual guide, and soon-to-be published author based in Calgary, Alberta. And from the very first moment we started talking, I knew this was going to be a conversation that would stay with me. Dr. Kelly has been doing this work for 35 years. She began with Reiki, dove deep into ancient wisdom traditions from the Egyptians to the Druids to indigenous practices here in North America, and has decided what she calls the Enlightenment Trinity, a three-part framework that weaves together divine connection, energy mastery, and the full embodiment of your human experience. That is a mouthful for sure. In this conversation, we talk about how to actually hear your guides, including a technique that instantly clicked for me. We explore what a spiritual plateau really is and what to do when you're stuck there. We talk about the collective awakening that's underway right now and why so many of us are feeling it. And Dr. Kelly shares her daily energy practice that starts before she even gets out of bed. So if you've ever felt like there's a deeper layer to your spiritual journey just waiting to be unlocked, today's episode is for you. Let's dive in. Kelly, thank you so much for being here with me today. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you. It's wonderful to meet you, and I just love your work. It's very visual and very healing, and just that level of energetics. Well, that's my too. So I think it's really cool what you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. It's fun meeting another energy healer who can sort of tune into the energy that my paintings give off as well. I love hearing what people sort of feel or intuit from them. So I appreciate you saying that. I forgot to ask you where you're located.
I'm in Canada. I'm
Oh, nice.
Canadian. Yeah, I'm in Calgary, Alberta, which is above Montana
Okay.
by the Rocky Mountains. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, good. Well, tell us who you are, what you do, and I'd love to know, how did your spiritual journey start? How did that begin for you?
I am a energy healer and a messenger seer, I guess. I channel information, I channel messages, and I'm also a spiritual guide, helping people to enlighten and ascend on their path. I started this work 35 years ago. I was at a point in my life where I just sort of went into business and I became an accountant, and it was awful and I would hate it, but it was a career, right? And somewhere along the line there, I thought, you know what, I'm going to take a year off and I'm just going to register in college for all these sort of liberal arts courses in philosophy, sociology, like just sort of literature, just sort of really get into it. And I never did, because all of a sudden about that time, so it's a, divine intervention, the new age movement exploded. So this is like late 80s.
Hmm.
And I went, wow, groovy. So I checked out, it was like spiritual kindergarten. There were so many different sects to this, like in terms of Buddhism and working with crystals and so forth. And even beautiful, this is the West Coast of Canada, even beautiful local native spirituality, which I really immersed into. I went to sweat lodges and, longhouses, and it was just beautiful stuff. So along the way, I went and had a Reiki healing session on me. And I went, what is this? This is amazing. And I just noticed my hands were singing all that, like my hands were waking up or something. And I thought maybe I need to do art or sculpting or something, but no, it was energy trying to come through my hands. So that Reiki session led to me taking the becoming a practitioner with the
Hmm.
very lady who became my Reiki master teacher. She was amazing. We're still connected to this day. What a healer, like out of this world healer. And the rest is history. I got into Reiki, but also energy balancing, and now for the last 3 years, I've been doing it at a distance. I can do distance healing. Well, what you can for with Reiki, right? And it's just been really a blessing to be able to do this. So life showed up, and it's like, okay, I need to go make some money, because I did a little bit of healing sessions and tarot card reading, and because my psychic ability increased, and it was always there, but I just didn't know how to use it. And I went back to work, and then I got married, and life sort of took over, and it was always with me, this ability to, I healed it or read cards
Hmm.
for loved ones and friends. And it's when I retired from my career where I actually got into the field of education. I became um, a developer of online courses for companies worldwide. So I retired from that about 5 years ago. And about a year after that, after traveling, having lots of fun, I thought, I just really want to get back to healing. I want to get back to healing and helping people. It was just been sitting there dormant. And so I started this online business I have now. And but then I had a lot of questions, right? It's like, okay, where's this energy coming from?
Hmm.
Who's channeling me information? How did the cosmos, how does this work? Like what are angels? So I dove a bit deeper into what they call spiritual science studies, which is all based on ancient traditional practices and wisdom. So the Egyptians and the Druids and Indian spirituality and Chinese medicine, so profound, thousands of years old, following their, I mean, it's a modern course, but it's following their understanding of how to work with the cosmos and how to work with spiritual realities and beings, and what happens in the ascension process and enlighten yourself process, an energetic expansion process. And that really gave my work a lot richer depth to working with people, and I felt much more satisfied. So yeah, it's been my journey.
Wow. So how I want to explore that the ancient wisdom and the things that you've studied. What's been the most um like illuminating thing that you've encountered in going back and looking at all of that?
It is the reality that we are spiritual beings in a human body.
Hmm.
Now, when you get your head around that, you realize you're not just a human body that has some spiritual inclinations. No, you're actually a spiritual body that is standing on the same platforms or dimensions or realms as other spiritual beings and ascended masters and angels and archangels, right? So you come from that and you decided to incarnate onto Earth and become this human being because coming into a physical body, it's like a four-sided box. It's a container where you
Hmm.
can process more. And how do we process stuff here and become more enriched with knowledge and experiences, good and bad, but it's usually the tough ones that toughen us up, resilience, you
Hmm.
know, understanding beyond what we might have had before strengthens our energetic structure, our energy field. And it's harder for spirit to do that. But what we have down here on earth, which is very difficult to deal with, and this is what I help my clients and with, is we work with emotions and we work with the mind. And those two really get in the way and they can be challenging in our life. I mean, look at how much therapy there is in this world. Look how much
Yeah.
anxiety there is, right? So it is like not mastering those, but really learning how to work with those from an energetic point of view. Because of our subtle bodies, there is the mental body and there is the emotional body, right? So it's all energetics.
Hmm.
So just learning that and realize, okay, we're down here for a purpose, and service is one of the highest ways of evolving. But
Mm.
sometimes you can't serve when you're still trying to get through the muddy stuff, and then there's that whole past life stuff coming with you and that karmic lessons,
Hmm.
right? So it's just like, wow. And our energetic structure will move on without us. It
Hmm.
goes to the next life or experience, whatever happens after we pass physically on this earth. So it's really important to build this up. So yeah, it was just that, like, holy cow, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And then now, how do you bring that down into reality of your everyday life where you have family and you need to get up in the morning and you have a garden to look at, right? So it's
Hmm.
like you have to pay car insurance. Like, how do you meld those two? And I think that's where I've really uh, been focusing on as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's so true. I feel like there's, once you have that awakening or an understanding that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, it's almost like you can't unring a bell, right? Like once you have that awareness, you have that awareness forever. And it's very hard to sort of stop trusting that or believing that. It's like once you know, you have to choose to sort of operate or live with that in mind in everything that you do, which can feel really empowering. And I think it can also feel really overwhelming because, like, there's so many layers to it. So it's like,
Mhm.
peeling back layers for all these different experiences and what the meanings are behind each of them.
Oh, yeah.
But it's also, once you understand spiritual concepts, it helps you sort of embody that in your day-to-day life as well. So how do you work with people? How do you support them through this process? I imagine you get people who are sort of at the beginning of their journeys, or do you tend to work with people who are more a bit further along in their healing
Yeah, I
journey?
tend to work with people a little bit who maybe have plateaued
Oh,
spiritually,
interesting.
right? So they've awakened, they've, or whatever, they have this desire to get more into, breath work and expanding and learning about themselves and getting this spiritual awareness and moving in those directions. And then I'd like to work with people that have, like I said, they've plateaued. They're like, okay, I've tried everything. I want to know more. I want to do more. I'm stuck. sort of like as well, because as you can see, like I come at it with some pretty deep concepts, right? And so understanding that and going deep into those, I think takes somebody that has a bit of experience in spirituality on their spiritual path. And so what I do is I've been creating a lot of new products because I think that really helps for people in terms of I can't heal everybody. I can't do private sessions with everybody. And I do have a program that's really in depth. It's about 8 weeks long, twice a year. So this is sort of the in-between stuff. And I'm really trying to help people with, first of all, their divine connection and awareness, because that's huge. Once you figure out and agree and embrace you are mostly the spiritual being, you need to connect with your soul. You know, you need to connect with that undying love and connection, and the best guidance you're ever going to have, and that's going to help get rid of the noise. So I have pieces around that to help people with that. And the other one I just finished is how to heal yourself. It's all about energy healing. So it is a 8-component one, and we go down into chakra healing, removing energetic cords, working on your energetic structure, your subtle bodies, your mind, your emotions, all from an energetic point of view. So there's teaching components, but there's mostly activations and guided experiences. So they can come back to those things, listen to them. And I do teach a bit of pranic healing so they can do their own self-healing.
Amazing. What do you feel are like the common blocks that you see in people that go through this program? Like where do you see that they're most sort of stuck or plateaued?
I think they get to a point where they've just been going around in circles and they're a bit confused. They're still really want to get to know who they are. And I think that's an ongoing process. So it's not like, that's it.
Yeah.
I know everything here and I'm good. So a lot of people like, what is my purpose? Why am I here? And the ones that want to come into the more deeper programs they could be, I've had my last program, I had 2 healers who had been healers as long as I have, but they had plateaued and they were just didn't know if they believed anymore, and they were feeling physically ill. So what was going on there? And so some of my clearing and guided experiences with energy and angels and archangels helped clear that out a lot, but it also put a lot of stuff into perspective for them. And I think once they connected on a higher level to some other higher reality, like this one woman did, she said, I connected with this sort of Gaia mother. It was not Gaia, so it wasn't physical at all. It wasn't Earth. I just, I realized why I was here. And actually, it's my presence around people where my energy just penetrates into them, just affects them. And she's lovely. She's a beautiful, soft, kind woman. And that made so much sense for her, right? And her power, her energy field shifted and it was broader and bigger. Yeah, so
Wow.
we have so many layers to go through. Like I'll be interested to see who I am in 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because I think once you start to do this sort of work, you are constantly evolving because you're constantly excavating stuff about yourself that you didn't know was there, and a trauma, a pain, a blockage, something. And once you start to move that out, then you're able to elevate a little bit more. And it's an ongoing experience for so many of us.
Yeah, and I want to touch back on what you said before. It is overwhelming if you think of the whole thing like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, look at everything I am and I need to work on. But that's not how growth goes, unfortunately. Sometimes you want to clear up XYZ and your spiritual path, and your guides are going, no, you need to come back over here. And so you butt your head until you finally do, because it's sort of subtle. They don't exactly send you an email, right? And go, here's your to-do list.
It'd
And
be
then
easier if they did.
yeah, and then you finally hit something, you go, man, I thought I dealt with that, but
Mhm.
you didn't, right? And maybe there's a whole new, deeper connection to that thing you thought you cleared up.
Yeah.
Then it really clears it out. And then
Yeah.
it just puts you on a whole new level of perspective in your life. That's how it happens. It's sort of sideways. It is not straightforward, tick, 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 not like that at all. So
Yeah.
my point is that you only really deal with 1 or 2 things at a time. It is not like you've got to rush and you can't rush.
You can't.
That's just it. We're talking about energetics, emotions, and perception, and even the physical human body.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't rush. You can't rush it, and it's a really sweet journey. Once you get to a certain point where a lot of the heavier stuff is gone, and a lot of the heavier stuff can also be just energy you're holding of other people's in your body, right? You work with the same thing. You got to clear that out. I don't think a lot of people don't know that.
Yep.
That's why this course is all about clearing out and grounding as well as enlightening. And so we need to do that, like huge cleanse on our body.
Yeah.
Huge.
That's so important. Tell me how I loved when you started chatting, you mentioned that you channel energy and that your psychic ability expanded too. How do you perceive energy? How do you receive your messages? I'm always curious what that feels like or looks like for people.
This is how I teach it as well when it comes to intuition is I have to go to the space between the thoughts. Well,
Mm.
first of all, I get into a state where I'm very relaxed and I'm protected and I open up a lot more, like my heart, my energy, I can feel my field expanding to connect with spirit. Right. And so when I get to that point, then I do it with, gratitude and graciousness. And then I have a conversation with them. Right. And
Mhm.
I have a certain team that's around me, my posse, I call them. And I ask a question. I don't know who's going to come forward, but I can just sense who comes forward and starts to answer me. But to hear them, you got to go to the space between your thoughts, like really clear your mind. You have to be able to receive. So what I teach my students, it's like you're lying in bed and you're trying to hear if it's raining outside. Right? So there's nothing going on in your mind. There's no agenda. You're just trying to listen. And that's that space. And then I just get a knowingness. I don't get voice or audio. I don't get a visual. I can sort of see them, but I just get this knowingness and it becomes, and then so this first piece comes through. It could be a word or two. And then I keep listening. And then this sort of like pack of information comes. I get this complete understanding of what they're trying to say to me. Right. It's like a paragraph.
Mhm.
I get it. And then I become active again and I ask some more questions. And then I have to go into that listening mode. And sometimes I'll go, that's enough. We told you enough. And yeah, so it's this state I have to go in. Now, when I do healings on people,
Mhm.
it's really cool. I'm in that state for about 45 minutes. And I do all sorts of energy work and methods. But where I choose to ask for and receive information is when I start working on their individual chakras.
Okay.
And why I do that is because it's a format. Like I understand what the crown's about and I understand what the throat chakra's about, right? So I see all sorts of stuff in there, like jelly beans and just weird stuff,
Yeah.
right? And I clear it out and I ask what that's about. And I'm constantly writing messages in the dark here.
Uh-huh.
And I have to, like, I have 2 pages of notes by the time I'm done to the bottom root chakra of both what's in there, and I have to clear out, and what's the potential there, what's the lesson there. And so a lot of it can be mostly challenges they're working on, but also their potential and who they are. And then I do at the very end, I go, because I bring in their souls, I bring in their healing guides, and I go to their soul and I say, I want to go up to another level, all of us, like not the person, but the person's soul. And I want to go up to like more a higher dimension. And we go up there and I bring in whoever needs to come in. And I start talking about this person's future. What's their purpose? And so that's where it's like a little council and I get a lot of information there.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Was this ability with you when like 35 years ago when you first started kind of digging into all of this, or has it grown and expanded and evolved since then? I'm sure it's grown, but was it
Yeah.
similar to what you experienced when you first started?
Yeah, because when I started doing hands-on Reiki, I got a massage bed and I made this groovy little room and, candles and everything like that. And I just loved it. And I started doing Reiki on people. And before I just really stopped doing that, just lifted up, a few inches off their body and just worked with their energy, I get these pictures, I get these knowingness. I remember the first one is I noticed a dagger in somebody's shin. It's like, what's going on here? So I pulled it out. Like I didn't know what I was doing. Energetically, I pulled it out.
Yep.
And I said, what's this about? Again, I wasn't really very good at have these conversations or understanding these conversations. But then once I started that, I started asking questions during the whole Reiki session. I would just get flooded with information, just like I get now. And yes, it has grown and gotten better, and I understand it more, and I know how to ask questions more. I know how to take that information and put it into the perspective of what this person would need in modern day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also don't want to freak out my clients, right? Like, you were a gladiator once. Like, I don't really say that. I just say in a past life, you had some fight challenges, and I don't even really get into death. Like, I don't water it down or anything.
Yeah.
I don't, but I just it's just really cool. It blows people away because they get it. It feels like home.
Yeah.
Like some
Oh,
stuff is surprising, but they so go, that so makes sense. So it's like our egos and the way we've been raised sort of tell us how to live. And then sometimes like, well, it does, it goes against the grain, your own grain. And then something blows up at age 30 or 40 and I just can't do this anymore, right?
yeah. hmm Yeah. And then you finally kind of you have to wake up and go, well, now's a turning point for me. I have to figure out what it is that I want to do and who I want to be. And that's when I took my pivot, was just about at my 40th birthday, when I thought, oh my gosh, I can't take another day of HR. I have to do, I have to do something else. I've got to get out of here. This feels like it's going to kill me if I stay here.
Well, that's great that you found that. Yeah, I was an accountant. It's great now because I'm comfortable with spreadsheets and
Yeah.
taxation, right? So that's great.
You have a new book that you're working on. Has it come out yet? The Embodied Mystic?
It will be done this weekend.
Oh my gosh, that's so
Yeah,
exciting.
I am so excited about this book, and I think the entire thing was guided. Like I had no desire to ever write a book. Having a doctorate, I've written a lot. I've written a dissertation. I'm fine with writing, but I never thought I'd write a book. And anyways, I wrote this book because this new understanding came forward for me on what I think needs to take for someone to go onto this enlightenment spiritual journey is three things. And the first one is obviously divine awareness and divine connection, right?
hmm
The second one is energy mastery, understanding that's what my course is about, understanding how to work with their energy and clear themselves and keep themselves lighter. And the third piece I've brought in that I think is missing in a lot of spiritual work is the physical embodiment, that we are these human beings with these amazing bodies of billions of cells, and it can repair itself and it can function on its own. And then we're also connected to Mother Earth and her rhythms. Our rhythms connect with her rhythms.
hmm
And nature, we go to nature, and what does it do? It absolutely calms us, right?
hmm
And so it was about embracing our humanness and our human life, and then also bringing in the ancestral genetic traits that come with us, and what is all that, right? And then sort of inherited behaviors that may not be yours. So it was taking the whole humanness piece with the divine connection and embodying your spiritual being, and then working with energy, because everything's energy.
Yeah.
I brought those three pieces together and I call it the Enlightenment Trinity, and that's what my book's about. And the last part of it is all practical. It's all guided instructions and steps and
Mm.
exercises to work on all of those pieces.
Wow. That sounds fascinating.
It's called the Embodied Mystic.
The Embodied Mystic. Um, I love the Enlightenment Trinity, where you're taking energy, the human experience, and just the awareness of the divine, and bringing it all together to say, here's how you can connect to your spirit and live,
Yeah.
really like live a better life ultimately, because you're not alone in the body. You're not stuck in the body. There's so much available to you.
Yeah. And then working on and loving your body, connecting with it more, understanding what sort of a fascinated piece it is. Because for a long time, Heather, I couldn't marry the spiritual and the physical world. I would like hang out with my girlfriends and we like, you know, do, I don't know, crystals and whatever else. We get into all this spiritual woo-woo stuff and then go home and it's Monday, I have to go to work my life sucked. This was like
Yeah.
35 years ago. I couldn't bridge the two. I couldn't understand how to marry the two.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've come to learn how to do that. And of course, having work entrenched in this, really helps as well. But then I'm just, this last year, it's been a way, we have to bring in this humanness and we can really ground it into this earth magic and our this amazing body we have and our genetics and our ancestral wisdom that comes through. And now
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to explore more goddess work, which is
Mm.
so earthy, right? It's so earthy and I've been sort of avoiding it for a long time, but I'm Celtic. My dad's from
Oh, wow.
Belfast, Ireland. Yeah, so I have my aunts all they're all seers and psychics, and like this is just natural in our family, right? And so I'm starting to explore that more and it is clicking. So, and I just find like that was the missing piece for me. And I think a lot of the practices of many practice, not a lot, I shouldn't say that at all, is either one or two of those pieces in the model that I have. It's like, I think you need all three.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you'll just feel more grounded and more accepting of being a human being with a huge spiritual component, and then that yeah, seeing everything is energy.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. What's your daily sort of energy practice? How do you ground your day in these things? Because I think about myself sometimes and I feel like the cobbler's children have no shoes some days, or I'm like, I have to be practicing what I'm preaching and doing my work. What does that look like for you?
It unfortunately it's in the middle of the night. I don't know about you, but I wake up way too early. But what I do before I get out of bed at all, I do energy work on my body. First of all,
Mm,
I drain any foreign energy, any ones I picked up. If I went into a shopping mall, if I had an engagement with somebody, good or bad, I get that out of my body. It's not mine. And I just drain it down into the earth. You can do that directly, shifting from your whole body. Or you can use the, energy cord, grounding cord from your spine down to Mother Earth. And then I wake up all my chakras. I run energy through them. Then I have, I was guided on this. We have this sort of grid, elevated electric type of grid, energetic grid all around our body. It's probably in the etheric body
hmm
of tiny little lights. So I activate that. It's called the starlight activation. And then I connect with my guides and if they have any messages for me today. That's what I ask them. So that's all before I get out of bed. And that's probably 10 minutes, 15, can be half an hour if they got lots to say. And then while I'm making my morning drink, I have this lovely, I use cacao and beautiful almond milk. Anyways, when that's heating up, I do this really cool energy thing where I'm pulling down energy from above down my core, and I'm pulling it up from above, and it looks like a donut. It's our Taurus. It's our Taurus energy field.
Okay.
And so I get myself activated that way as well. So for me, it's about clearing and connecting. And then I come up here and I light a candle. It's right behind me. And I give reverence to the goddess. I've just been doing that lately and I just love it. So it's my little shrine back there. And then I spend the first 2 hours, I'm up like 2 hours before my husband. I don't know. I just wake up and
Yeah.
so obviously go to bed early. And this is when I do my content. This is where I create and write and compose. If I'm doing videos or audio, I can compose a script before I get into the emails and
hmm
marketing and all that sort of stuff. And I just really, really love it. And I just feel when I do that, I really myself pours into this content. It's just like when I record audios, and they're healing audios, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they're activations or their guides or something. I transmit energy into it. So, and I ask my healing guides to keep it in there. So when people listen to it, that comes through. Yeah.
Oh, I
So
love
those
that.
are odds of very much morning. And
Yeah.
then I don't work in the afternoons. I have naps every day. And my husband does too. I love my naps. They're so
Yeah.
refreshing. We go for walks, we see our children, so I just do mornings. And then after that, it is, me time, family time. Yeah.
I
And we
love
live
that.
right on a big urban park. So our walks are right down there in the trees, and yeah.
Sounds so lovely.
It
It's
is. I really enjoy it.
yeah, it sounds so relaxing and calm. And your energy is so calm to me too. It's very um peaceful and tranquil. Um, so I'm sure your clients love working with you for that reason too, that you
Thank you. And yours is too.
oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Well, I love that. I was thinking about how much our world has changed since COVID and how so many people are going through awakenings or have gone through awakenings that find themselves now probably at a plateau, I imagine. It's been 5 years of some of the same stuff over and over again. What do you think is sort of playing, or how do you think energy is sort of playing a role in this sort of collective awakening or shift in our energy right now?
Well, that's a really interesting question. I've come to the understanding of, the sources I learned from is there's a divine plan of people waking up. So maybe COVID was one of those things where you were just forced to be with yourself for a year, right?
Exactly.
And no distractions, you get sick of the internet after a while. This is the age of Archangel Michael, or they call it Michael, and he is about the awakening. And Gabriel was before the era before, maybe I think it turned the era 1870s or something. And Gabriel, apparently, this is all what I've heard of this divine plan was to raise our consciousness by more development in the front of our brain.
Mm.
So this era right now with Michael is our consciousness are much more expanding and opening. So before, you used to have to be a shaman or a medicine man or a priest or a guru or something, and they seem to be the ones that were channeling and understanding the divine world by it coming down to them. Now it's the opposite. We can go up. They're
Oh,
closer.
wow. Yeah.
So that's why we're able to pick up stuff. And I think it's very confusing for people. So I think it's really great that, the work that you and I do is helping people understand how energy works, understand themselves as a spiritual being, and for them to go off and learn about, okay, who's who in the zoo. And
Yeah.
that's the teachings I do as well, right? So what is going on here?
Hmm.
So I'm just wondering if those two are coincidental in terms
Mm.
of COVID. You're forced to face all sorts of things in your life, including your relationship, and just becoming more aware, and then just realizing. I think the big one is it's like, you know what? There's got to be more to life than this.
Hmm.
But coming from a perspective of like, I totally hate my life, not like down in the dumps. And there are people going through shifts like that, but it's something else.
Something else.
Like
Yeah.
it's something else where it's sort of an enlightening thought. And I think that's what starts it, and they
Hmm.
start to dabble in things and learn about things and pick up a book, and then they start to shift. And I think there's a lot of awakening going on right now, and
Yeah.
people are confused on what to do with it. They really
Yeah.
are. But there's more of us. There's a ton of speakers out there. There's just so much guidance out there that they'll find something that will help them what's on their next path.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I think it's time for people to learn to trust that they're intuitive beings, that they have access to information. I did a podcast with a woman on Sunday night, Karen Swain, and she was so funny because she said, I used to do a bunch of certifications and do these read books and do all this. She goes, now I just ask my guides. And I was like, oh. And so we were in the middle of our call and she goes, "Tell me about that painting." And I went, "I'm not really sure." And she goes, "Well, then why don't you just ask your guides?" I was like, "Oh, I can do that. Okay, hold on." I think that there's so much information. We have access to infinite and unconditional
Absolutely.
information. But we don't tap into it, because we're just so busy and we're online and we're scrolling TikTok but we really do have all this information available to us energetically, spiritually, and but we've been so conditioned to look outside of ourselves. So I love that this is part of your work is teaching people how to find it within.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I am very select on what I read, what I absorb, what I engage in.
Mm-hmm.
My guides give me everything I need to know in terms of my direction in my life, direction in my business, uh, understanding the cosmos that is a lot of, my knowledge as well in the last while. And I think people, if they gotta tap in and listen to their soul because they're just waiting, your guides are just waiting. They won't intervene. They won't push it. They'll leave little messages and ahas now and here, and little coincidences will happen in your life. But they will. You come down here on a soul contract, and it's like you have to ask for help. They're just waiting for you to ask them. And they're not going to do everything. They're not going to tell you everything. That's not going to be like an 8-page plan or anything. But most certainly it is the way to go. And I think if more people can tap into that, because there's so many perspectives out there,
Mm-hmm.
perspectives that is confusing for people. I think people are confused. And so what I say to people is that when you're able to tap into your soul and you got that divine guidance, and then like you said, also it can move out to your guides, but just start with the soul, right? A lot of people
Uh-huh.
can connect with that. Is then you get a sense of yourself and you just unplug from anybody and anything. Just get that connection. And then you will get you'll get clearer. I won't say so clear because it takes a while. You'll get clearer. And then you go, you know what? I want to do more development in this area. I'm going to
Mm.
find a teacher over in this area. Or that's just not aligning with me anymore. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a judgmental good or bad thing. And you start to realize, and it's a lot gentler, slower process as opposed to just grabbing a bunch of stuff. I had this one lady write me and she said, "I'm so frustrated. I can't connect with anybody, any divinity, any divine beings. I can't get any messages. I try everything. I take so many courses on this, and
Mm-hmm.
she's going on and on about this. And I went, okay, you need to unplug for 1 week. 1 week. Don't follow anything, don't read anything, don't beat yourself up, and go out and hug a tree. Go out and hug a tree and have that alone time with yourself, right? And start to connect with yourself. Yourself misses you.
Mm-hmm.
I just posted a little meme the other day, a little social media post. It's like, we don't need more. We need ourselves.
We need more of ourselves. Yeah. Yeah. Do you, when you're talking to somebody, do you connect to their guides? Can you hear what their guides are saying, or their guides telling your guides information, or how does that work for you?
That's a really good question. No, I don't, because I can pick up so much. I
Mm-hmm.
don't, right? So if I'm out having coffee with a girlfriend, which I did yesterday, or with a family gathering, or I'm I'm visiting my banker, I don't pick up because I can. I don't want that information in me. I don't want that energy in
Uh-huh.
me. And then when you start to work with somebody else's guides, you have to ask permission,
Yeah.
right? So when I do that, when I do a healing, I ask the person, but well, they're, not lying down and closing their eyes as I do my thing. But I also ask their soul, can
Mm.
I work with this person? Can I work with you? Right. So it definitely is a permission thing. But when I do healing sessions, because I can go deep into those meditative states where I can see them and connect with them, I definitely love working with them because they know what that person needs more than what I'm going to pick up from who knows what source, right? I mean, it's usually pretty good because I set it that way, that only the highest energy, entity, and beings are allowed around me in this client.
Mm-hmm.
And I have that a lot in my activation audio, my audio activations is we set that protection, we bring in the healing guides, and if we're dumping into Mother Earth, we ask her if we can, right? So it's that sort of respective, gracious way of doing things.
Yeah.
It's much more powerful.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. Well, I am loving this conversation with you, and I've taken away so much from this as well. The biggest thing I think I'll leave with is listening, as though you're listening for the sound of the rain outside. That instantly gave me a visual. I knew exactly what you meant, and I feel like I needed to hear that today because I think I sometimes struggle with, well, what am I listening for? But I know my guides often communicate to me through music. And so in the morning when I ask for, I do my prayer and I say, okay, God, what is it that you need me to know today? Almost always I'll get a song instantly in my mind.
Love it.
And the
Oh,
song is, when I look up the lyrics, something that is sort of uh, a message of some sort for me. But I love that, listening for the sound of the rain. That's a really great tool.
yeah.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. And I just love that you get music. That's really cool.
Yeah. When I had a psychic reading with a good friend of mine, and she said, your guides are here. And I said, well, I picture them in my mind like they stand in a row, and then there's one big guy in the middle, and I'm scared of him because he holds like a staff. And she started laughing. She goes, that's not a staff, that's a microphone. And I said, what? She goes, he's like a rock star. It's a microphone, and he delivers messages to you through music. And I was like, you've got to
I
be kidding me.
love that. Oh, that is so cool.
And I've always wondered
Oh,
that because I almost always get messages through music. And so turns out it's true. And that's probably like the best way they can get my attention.
so we have so many clairs, right? We can
Yeah.
we can see it, we can hear it, we can just know it, we can sense it in our body, like there's some sort of physical sensation chills us, or maybe something happens in our right shoulder or something like that. And so yeah, you're hearing. That is really
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah.
Clear audio, I think it's called, or audio,
Yeah.
or
And
something like
also
that.
clairsentience for me. I feel a lot of what people's emotions are, or um, somebody told me I was an empath, and I'm not entirely sure that that's true, but I can sort of feel in my body. It's like putting somebody's energy on like a jacket, and I can sort of feel energetically where they
Oh,
might have pain or something.
that
It's
makes so
interesting.
much sense because it comes now through your hands into a painting. That's sensory, right? That's you
Mm-hmm.
have to physically move your hand, and probably for an artist, you can correct me, I'm not sure, but it would be about, I mean, of course I do some art. I used to do fused glass art. It's
Oh,
like your hands just move, right?
mm-hmm.
And yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that is really cool. I love it.
I love that. I love when you know what your clairs are and you can work with them, and it's really awesome. Well, I could talk to you for hours, I think. So, but I'm cognizant of time. So tell the listeners where they can find you online and how they can work with you.
Thank you. Well, I have a website called kellyedmonds.com. That's Edmonds with an O. And they can work with me. I have, like I said, a lot of beautiful courses, and
Hmm.
I'm about to create an inner healing circle, which is like a membership, and I'll be giving free. Well, I'll be including healing sessions twice a month. I do give a master class right now on how to build up your energetic structure, so for this lifetime and the next one.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, there's lots of things that depends on what is calling you. My book will be up there pretty soon, and I do also have private healing sessions, sort of a package of 4. We really go deep, and then probably twice next spring I'll be creating my energy magic program. We're delivering it again, and that's live immersive group program for about 8 weeks, where it is like another part of their initiation on their spiritual path. So lots of different things, depends on where you're at, what you're looking for.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, I will include all of that information in the show notes so that they can find you there. And thank you so much for your time today. It was so great to chat with you. I really
Thank
appreciate it.
you. Oh, I really enjoyed meeting you, Heather. Thank you. That was
Me
a great
too.
discussion.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for joining me today on Your Radiant Spirit. Every conversation here is an invitation to go beyond the surface, to listen to what your soul has been whispering, and to step into the life you've been longing for. If you're ready to go deeper, to work in a way that's personal, creative, and profoundly transformative, you'll find ways to connect with me in the show notes. Whether it's through art, a guided session, or a fully immersive journey, you'll discover a space where your truth is seen and your next chapter begins. If this episode spoke to you, it would mean the world if you shared it with a friend, left a review, or subscribed so more people can discover the conversations we have here. Until next time, my friend, keep noticing the colors, the moments, and the nudges. They're all leading you home. And for now, take a breath, hold on to what resonated, and carry it with you into the rest of your day. Thanks for listening.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Heather Eck hosts an amazing show called Your Radiant Spirit. Heather, tell listeners about the show.
What if the colors you're drawn to, the creative urges you ignore, and the quiet intuitive hits you brush off are actually trying to tell you something? Your Radiant Spirit is the podcast that helps you listen and live with greater clarity and purpose.
And where can people subscribe?
You can find and subscribe at heathereck.com/yourradiantspirit on marketingpodcast.net or search for it wherever you get your podcasts.
You heard her. Go subscribe. This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.